Hey, what's up? It's Mike from Inspired Landlord on X and YouTube. Today, I want to talk about something I learned about on a different podcast that actually helped me raise rents without seeming like too much of a jerk, hopefully, or at least a joint decision among us. But it's something I learned about on what is now Landlord Horror Stories podcast with Dan. Used to be Resilient Real Estate Investing, REI. But it's called the binder method. And again, I take no credit for this. I did not come up with this. This is not my idea. I heard it on his podcast. Want to share it with you because it is a pretty cool tool. So when I purchased my first property with my wife, had existing tenants that we inherited. We were buying it as a rental property. Our first one is one side of a two-family, so it's a condo, no association dues, $4 a month, shared water pump. It is 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, basement, backyard, front yard, driveway. So when we purchased the property, the rent was $16.50 a month, and we purchased it. So for obviously real estate values go up and up and up most of the time. So we had to raise the rent, a couple $100. And this method I heard on Dan's podcast is really cool. So it's called the binder method. So what you do is you put this binder together of 6 or 7 comps, comparable properties. So what I did was I found 6 or 7 properties that were 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath within 3 miles of our property. And I showed them what the current market rates were for rent. They were all much higher. They were all 19 to 2100 a month. And again, they were paying 1650. I knew we had to get it up a couple hundred. In my mind, I was hoping that it would be 19, but I'll show you where that ended up. So a month after we approached them, a month after we purchased the property, I reached out to the guy who makes the decisions, who actually pays the rent. And I said, hey, I'm looking forward to a really good relationship and everything. I hope you understand this is coming from just a place where it kind of happened. I need to raise the rent, but I want you to be part of the process. So I compiled 6 or 7 properties that I want to show you. So we went through them one by one, all 3 bed, all 1.5 bath within that 3 mile radius of where they were living currently. And every single one, like I said, was between 19 and 2100. So I showed him that and he was like, oh man, thank you for showing me. What I said then was, here's what I'd like you to do. I don't want to just throw out a number and say, this is what you're going to pay or get out. So I'd like you to take a few days with your roommates. It's 3 grown men who are awesome. They are very hardworking, never missed rent, never been late with us for a year and a half now. They're great. I said, why don't you guys take a few days, think things over, and I want you to come up with a number that you think is fair for both of us. You know what you'd have to pay if you were to move. I would love for you guys to stay. Please, the 3 of you, talk amongst yourselves. Let me know what you think is fair for both of us. So of course I'm thinking hopefully they come back with 1950 or even 2000. They came back with $100. So they went from 1650 to 1750. So they got up $100 on their own. That's pretty good. And when we had our discussion, I said, I really appreciate that. I was actually thinking 1950. Can we just meet in the middle and call it 1850 a month? And he was very thankful for that. So, it's an effective method, in my opinion, because you're giving them some say, half the say, really. They're giving them an argument to kind of say what they think is fair and go from there. So we met right in the middle, 1850 a month. That's where we landed, and I was fine with that. I was hoping for 19, but I'm not going to sweat $50 a month. I'm just not going to do it at this moment. So they were extremely thankful, and I had just raised their rent $200 a month. So the binder method it's an effective tool. I'm hoping I didn't come off like a jerk. It was very cordial conversations, 3 or 4 of them, and they signed the updated lease. Here's the other thing. I didn't kick it in for another 3 months. So I kept their rent at $16.50 for 3 months. So I gave them 3 months heads up just to prepare too financially. So they were ecstatic about that. They were really thankful. So we have had an awesome relationship since then. Take care of our property. We take care of them, and it's just an awesome relationship. So that is how you can raise the rent without coming off like especially if you inherit tenants, which is what we did on our first rental property. So The binder method, real quick. You find 6 or 7 comparable properties within a 2-3 mile radius. You literally print them out. If you meet them in person, you print them out, you go through them one by one. If you're doing a Zoom call or something, you share your screen with them, show them what those prices are for rent. You say, all right, here's what it is. If you want to move, I understand. Here's what you'll be paying in a nicer way. Please get back to me. You guys talk amongst yourself. Let me know what you think is a fair number for both of us, and we will go from there. The binder method, it works, and it's worth trying, in my opinion. So that is it for today's video. Do me a favor, make a stranger smile. You never know how much it can help them at that given time. I'll see you in the next video.